2-on-1, old school.
And Devendorf makes the comeback complete. Overseas elite taking home the cash.
Here comes Jimmer. He'll take a transition three. Big one from the logo. 4 in a row. Post up for Gibbs with 7. Loose ball. Picked up right in. And the king is dead. Carmen's Crew, the champion.
Wait a second, 18 years in the league, 7-time All-Star, bam!
Spikes feeds it in. Diener to win it. God, he's done it again! The Golden Eagles are the champions of TBT.
Whoa! Somerville!
Oh my God!
Retirement!
KD, the destroyer, the GOAT. They've all proven themselves on this court, and we've got high-level basketball today.
Arena in Wheeling, West Virginia, as we are all set to open up what is a busy day of basketball. 9 games across the basketball tournament field as we are down to what is 32 teams, the first of what's 4 today, here from Wheeling, West Virginia, what is 60 miles west of Pittsburgh. It's the 3-seed Challenge ALS Florida and the 6 Dawgtown, the Georgetown alumni. With Tim Scarborough, Matt Martucci, so glad that you are in fact with us this afternoon as we are halfway through this TBT field and year number 10 for what is the basketball tournament. A $1 million winner-take-all prize, field cut in half from 64 down to 32. We've already put 4 teams into the quarterfinals, have 4 more still to come, and the defending champion, Blue Collar U, surviving a scare yesterday, getting a jumper from Nick Perkins to take care of Big 5 TBT, a basketball tournament team composed of a lot of Philly ballers. As for what's going on here in the West Virginia Regional, the top seed, West Virginia, the West Virginia alumni tonight against Du Bois Dream. And then heard that, led by John Elmore, the Marshall alumni against Levance Fields and the Zoo Crew, the Pittsburgh alumni. After this one, the 2-seed Sideline Cancer, a TBT staple against the 7 Ram Nation. The VCU alumni that are back in this field after a hiatus. Winner of this region goes to the West Virginia quarterfinal, which will be Sunday, 4 Eastern on ESPN2. And we move over to Dawgtown. This 6th seed, led by a guy that a lot of college basketball fans probably familiar with, Tim Scarborough. It's the former Georgetown guard, Chris Wright, who's overcome his own set of challenges to be there, battles MS.
Yeah, and that is an amazing feat in and of itself to battle that disease. But to then be one of the top players in the world. You know, these guys are all professionals. He's been playing, and he played in the NBA. He was the only active player to do so with that disease. Diagnosed in 2012, but he is going strong. Great attitude. He is here to let people know that this Georgetown program is back on the ascension. They got Ed Cooley, a new head coach, you know, and now this stage, they want to make sure that they have a really good showing here in the TBT this week.
And they're coached by his former teammate, Austin Freeman, trying to restore the profile of Hoyas basketball across the board. And then over to the other side for Challenge ALS and Florida, where we've had mergers and acquisitions come to TBT. Brandon Robinson, you call him a 3-and-D guy. How good is Robinson?
Yeah, and that's an overused term, but I'm telling you what, this guy really is that. A lockdown defender. Did not play Division I basketball, but he is an excellent pro. and he's a really good TBT player. He's played for a few teams over the years, and is a double-digit scorer. 15 points a game last year in TBT, but then he went down with an injury, and this Florida TNT team was not the same. Lost probably earlier than what people thought they would.
Now here's the mergers and acquisitions part. Challenge ALS playing to bring awareness to this unfortunate disease. Their GM, Sean Marshall, former BC player, a roommate of Pete Frates, who played baseball at Boston College and passed away from ALS. Actually, the originator of the Ice Bucket Challenge. But this roster merging with Florida TNT, and Terry Hughes more or less said, we acquired the roster. 4 9-minute quarters at TBT. Tough to foul out of this event, and if you do, you might as well keep the box score because it's pretty tough. 9-minute quarters, 6 fouls, that's a lot. And we go by FIBA goaltending rules, which means the basketball is playable on the rim, except on free throws. And then we implement the brainchild of Nick Elam in all games. Stop the clock under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, set a target score. We add 8 points to the winning team's leading team's score, and whoever gets there first wins the basketball game and moves on. Challenge ALS Florida in the white, and Dawgtown, the Georgetown alumni in the blue veteran crew here this afternoon. Greg Evans, Larry Johnson, and TV Teddy Valentine. Let's have at it. A quadruple header today here from West Banco Arena. Ready to get rolling.
Some familiar Georgetown players. This is going to be fun. A really good Florida Challenge ALS. It's going to be funny with the branding, right? What do we call these guys? But I mean, whatever we call them, they're going to be one of the better teams in this tournament. But watch out for this Dawgtown team.
Devontae Smith-Rivera, who scored over 1,900 career points at Georgetown, gets the scoring started. As we look at our Puma starting lineups, Chris Warren, TBT veteran, Keith Clanton, perhaps the best footwork in this basketball tournament among bigs, and Marvell Harris, who was just recently married over the weekend and spending his honeymoon apparently in scenic Wheeling for a couple of days. As Smith-Rivera long of the three-point attempt.
Apparently he married a saint.
Just saw Smith-Rivera among that Dawgtown starting lineup, letting it fly, wasting no time. Shaheed Davis. So, Challenge is on the board with a triple.
So many players on this Challenge ALS team. They are as deep as they come in terms of quality, 1 to 12.
Sims with a face-up. Clanton just lets him shoot it. And quickly one and done. There's Robinson leaking out and gets the finger roll.
That was too easy. You don't see a lot of those, especially in the early part of the game. Transition defense has been pretty solid at TBT, but the Georgetown team fell asleep at the wheel right there.
Biggest key for this Dawgtown team, in your mind? As Smith-Rivera well off target on that floater.
I feel like with any Georgetown team, when they're knocking down shots from downtown, they're really tough to beat because they defend well, and the interior game is usually on point at both ends.
Yeah, you posed that question to Chris Wright last night in our conference call. The Hoya GM, this Georgetown alumni team, do you have enough shooters? Sims going to try to be one, the triple left on the front of the rim. And a rebound down to Chris Warren, who started Ole Miss and is a TBT staple. Wasted no time, lets it fly. And rebound grabbed out of the air by Greg Whittington, who's a former NBA player with the Nuggets.
But that last shot by Sims, wide open, those are the ones you have to cash in if you're Georgetown.
Whittington up on one leg, knocks it down.
How tough was that? And, you know, Keith Clanton, number 33, is one of the tougher big men in tournament, it's TBT history, quite honestly. The footwork you mentioned, but he's tough at the defensive end as well, but he's got his hands full with the size of Dawgtown.
Running the pick and roll with Harris, who uses the window, and we joke about it all the time. Some of the best body control at TBT. It's not a joke, but Marvell Harris, you know, not the lightest guy in the world.
He's unstoppable, though.
Yep.
I haven't seen anybody stop the guy yet.
Built like a forward, plays like a guard.
Another leak out.
Off the Hoya miss. And getting the layup, Davis, who already has a couple buckets, give him 5.
And you can't give up easy buckets to a team that knows how to go get shots. Way to come back and knock it down from downtown. Whittington.
5 early for Greg Whittington, who just 2 years ago was a member of the Denver Nuggets. And Hoya alumni, Hoya fans probably excited to see Whittington, a guy whose career was cut short by injuries and some academic trouble during his time on the hilltop.
Good defense.
Offensive rebound for Robinson. Clanton gets it a second time. Shot clock back to 20. Harris unloads from 3 and run down by Whittington.
Well, already you see Clanton paying dividends, getting them a second chance opportunity. Couldn't cash it in, but that's what he brings.
Sims one-on-one with Clanton across the lane for the former Philadelphia 76er. In and out on the jumper. Warren down with the rebound.
A couple of gladiators in the post. You don't see that often, but you usually used to see it all the time at Georgetown. What a move.
The quick first step by Warren off the window.
Chris Warren is so fun to watch. With the ball in his hands, he can change speeds and go from 0 to 60 in no time.
See two guys standing up, Darren Collison and Iron Rainey, dual head coaches for this Challenge ALS Florida team. Nice cut for Chris Wright, everything but the finish on the left side of the rim.
What's the saying? 2 heads are better than 1.
Yes, sir. Robinson unloads the triple and rattles it home.
And 3 is better than 2 all day, and nobody does it better for TNT, Florida Challenge ALS. The whole branding, whatever you want to call him, Brandon Robinson is that guy.
Robinson with 5 early. Quick three-point try this end for Jason Clark. There's another Georgetown alumnus that played over in Italy. Good ball reversal. Davis, another look, spins this out. But unable to save it. Whittington will stay at this end.
There have been, if you're a Dawgtown coach or fan, you got to be concerned about the easy shots that we're seeing at the other end.
Effort and energy there for Challenge ALS Florida, up by 7. Now this is quick. Yeah, absolutely. No, it's good. Okay. Sounds good.
I'll let Matt know.
No, we talked about it.
Okay. Nice, man. You're all with.
The basketball tournament is presented by Puma Basketball, by Cost Plus, the low-cost provider for medications, and by the National Basketball Players Association, the union for the 450 best basketball players in the world. Not far from the Ohio border, as we're in Wheeling, West Virginia, first round of the West Virginia Regional Challenge ALS, TBT staple with the 7-point lead on Dawgtown, the Georgetown alumni. Glad you're with us with the former Liberty guard Tim Scarborough, Matt Martucci. As Chris Warren getting his pocket picked. Yep.
That's what Clark does, though. Really good defender at Georgetown, continuing that tradition.
Penetrating pitch to Whittington, long on the three-point attempt, and Robinson down with the rebound. Talked about energy and effort early on for this Challenge ALS Florida team as Robinson glides and scores. That's what their GM, Terry Hughes, told us that they needed in order to come out and, with the focus and energy.
It was a lack of that, which is why they didn't get a text from Zell last year. Because they were good enough to win this whole thing, but they got caught up in Dayton in that quarterfinal game and came out flat, and you can't do that in this tournament. All it takes is one bad game, and you're out, and that's what happened to them.
Clarifying for the folks at home, what's a text from Zell mean in this thing?
A text from Zell means the money that will be funded to your account right away. The second you hit that Elam ender, within 5 minutes, you're going to have whatever your piece is of $1 million. So that's another thing that separates TBT from everything else in the basketball world.
Jason Clark bangs home the jumper. Stops the bleeding a little bit for Dawgtown. Challenge ALS Florida had its largest lead. Warren trying to extend the triple off target. And Clark quickly up the floor with the rebound again.
Man, Clark is so silky smooth at both ends. Solid ball handler, but really known for his defense, locking people up at the defensive end.
Jagan Mosley, newly in for the Georgetown alumni, missed that layup try, got it back and fouled.
You see there's a lot more resistance being offered at the rim for this Challenge ALS Florida team. Georgetown, despite their size, have given up several easy shots at the basket, and you have to clean that up if you want to advance in TBT or anywhere, really. I mean, you can't give up easy shots.
Mosley headed to the free throw line. Ahoya from 2016 to 2020. Good combination of versatility. And brings this down to a two-possession game again. Jagan Mosley's winning share sent with Zell. $87,000. There's a lot you could do with that.
But it's all pretend money until you hit that Elam ender next week.
Monopoly money. 1 of 2 for Mosley.
It's a lovely thought, though. It's like playing, it's not quite bad odds as playing the lottery, but it's all pretend money until you do what you need to do. And I think we're looking at a team that can do it, though. This team in white.
Yeah, they have the right roster composition. And Mwugbe, newly in, punches it down. Sela Mwugbe.
Very few teams actually get better when they go to their benches. I think this team has a chance to, and they can really shake this lineup up. Lots of versatility.
Penetrating kick, Pryor, got it blocked. And out of bounds.
That was Marvell Harris that blocked that shot and was off to the races.
Just saw Sean Marshall seated there wearing the number 3 jersey, the BC jersey.
But at the other end, Mwugbe with the pick and roll, great dime delivery. May have stepped out of bounds. We're not going to count that. But nonetheless, a two-hand dunk from the young kid from Azusa Pacific.
Yeah, former D2 shot blocker extraordinaire. And his size creating some problems on the interior. Fletcher McGee, who played at Wofford, the NCAA's all-time three-point field goal leader, newly in and in the left corner wearing number 3 for Challenge ALS Florida. They were looking for him, turned it over. Mosley up the floor, Whittington hanging and finishing.
That is big time. That is Georgetown basketball right there. Deflections, sealing off the drive, and then getting out and finishing at the other end.
Whittington already off to a good start. Moving screen at this end. Mwugbe. And Teddy Valentine celebrating his 42nd season as an official at 65 years of age, right on top of the call.
Teddy Valentine, terrific. And of course, he and I talk all the time. We go way back. He goes back to when I played at Liberty. So I'm not going to say how old I am, but I'm not quite as old as Ted. But my goodness, this guy does not age.
28 NCAA tournaments under his belt, 4 title games, 10 Final Fours for the guy they call TV Teddy. And doing it in his birthplace here, was born in Wheeling.
So I've always wondered, do they call him TV because that's his initials or because he loves the camera?
It's a little bit of both, I think. Robinson with a missile toward the front of the rim and tracked down by Mosley.
We'll have to ask him that later.
A loaded West Virginia regional, just getting started. First of what's 4. It started in Louisville as well. As games going on there too.
Darius Washington. I think that's Darius Washington. He doesn't look the same as he looked at Memphis in 2012.
Or in 2019, rather, when we had him with the Memphis Alumni.
That's right. And Darius coming off the bench. I mean, they just come off with guys that know how to get buckets. We saw Fletcher McGee, number 3, hit that 3 that didn't count because Teddy Valentine waved it off. But, man, just a loaded team. But that's not enough, though. Assembling the talent is the very first piece of it. Getting chemistry is awfully important, but then you got to get the guys show up, and we know how tough that is at the TBT level. Coordinating the GM may be the hardest job in sports, coordinating a TBT team.
Both free throws for Washington, who's in here at 37 years of age. Hasn't played at TBT since 2019 with the Memphis Alumni. 8-point lead for Challenge ALS Florida.
Nice pass.
Great find. Whittington, again an adjustment. Yep, and that's halfway down. He can play it on the rim, not in the cylinder.
You can't play it under the rim.
Right. We're not volleyballing it out from under.
This Dawgtown team is hanging tight, though. They're getting better shots at the offensive end, and they've tightened some things up defensively, sealing off dribble penetration, the first of those things.
Trying to overcome 30% shooting for the field. Washington well short on that and out of bounds, does them a favor. Challenge ALS, meanwhile, out to 8 of 15. And doing it in a variety of ways. We've seen pick and rolls, we've seen perimeter.
Got on transition. Yep. Gave out a couple easy ones, and now a little token pressure in the backcourt there, slowing them down at the end of the quarter.
Mosley tried for the tap, and that's the end of one. 50% from the field for Challenge ALS Florida. Still feels weird to say that after the merger, but they're up 6 heading into the second here in West Virginia.
Mello, Dip, Heen, 1 of 1, that boy, that man. What it mean to be mellow? Shoot, to be you for real. You know what I'm saying? I don't know any other way. Just follow your instincts and stay true to yourself. However you feeling pretty much is a feel. You gotta trust yourself. Not from here, 1 of 1. This, that, hit, hat, big back.
Who needs caffeine?
You're the best. How should we pay you back?
Zelle, of course. I always ask for Zelle.
Great. I'll just...
With Zelle, the money goes straight into my bank account. And it works even if you bank somewhere different than I do. So in conclusion, you should always ask for Zelle. Oh, looks like we have some late arrivals. I'll take it from the top.
Zelle. Look for it in your banking app.
TBT's $1 Million Championship coming to the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia. Semifinals Wednesday, August 2nd, and the championship Thursday night, August 3rd, and almost sold out. You can head to thetournament.com for tickets. Who, Tim Scarborough, will hit the $1 million shot? I know you don't have the answer to that, but we are looking forward to going to the DAC, the Daskalakis Athletic Center, seeing Dragons head coach Zach Spiker and their longtime SID Mike Tuberosa. City 6 in Philadelphia as Fletcher McGee, the former Wofford guard, misses the long three-point attempt.
You know, I believe Mike Davis Jr. passed Fletcher McGee for the most three-pointers made. I have to look that up. But Fletcher, when he finished at Wofford, was certainly the guy.
Yeah, and he passed some names, among them Steph Curry. Whittington down Main Street, and there's a Ward, says Larry Johnson.
It should be pointed out that Steph only played 3 years of college basketball, but point taken.
And Mike Davis played how many? It felt like
7? Yeah, Mike played a lot of games. I believe he played over 160 college basketball games.
And actually, it's not Mike, it's Antoine, isn't
Antoine Davis, yeah, that's right.
It's Mike Davis' son.
Mike's son, that's correct.
Sometimes it all runs together.
But this basketball world is indeed small. We're all connected.
12 to shoot. McGee steps into it and hits it.
The thing that makes him tough, in addition to being accurate, he can shoot it from anywhere on the floor, and it doesn't take him long to get it off.
Fletcher McGee averaged 15 at TBT a year ago, 21 the year before.
Woo.
Whittington off the window. Definitely upping his average today.
That is a big-time shot. Former Team Hines guy. High-level performer, though.
11 of the 16 now for the Georgetown alumni by way of Greg Whittington. McGee, another one, this time hit on the arm by Aaron Bowen.
You can understand the urgency of the contest, but you have to stay away from contact on a three-point shooter. And right here, Bowen simply got on a ball screen switch. He went out to contest that one, and Fletcher splashed it in his face. But the second time, they fouled him, and Fletcher will have 3 free throws.
Fletcher McGee, who we saw in the West Virginia Regional a year ago as part of WOCO Showtime, the Wofford alumni. As Whittington sits down, 2-time SoCon Player of the Year, Fletcher McGee.
Yeah, man, did they have it rolling at Wofford. I mean, Mike Young, that team, my goodness, they won a tournament game. Fletcher McGee had probably his worst shooting performance of his career in the NCAA tournament versus Kentucky, or they probably beat Kentucky and head to the Sweet 16 as well.
And the last guy you want to foul, a career almost 91% free throw shooter in college. He puts this Challenge ALS Florida team up by 10. Rodney Pryor, tough catch, baseline J. And Mwugbe raking down the rebound.
Ooh.
McGee running out of real estate, and as was Mwugbe.
Almost an unforced error there.
And
Fletcher may have stepped on that sideline as well.
And comes back with a triple. Unflappable, Fletcher McGee.
The splash for cash from Fletcher.
A second one for him. Has the last 6 now. For Challenge ALS Florida, Sims drops it in to stop the bleeding a little bit. But trading 2s for 3s here. And this is an 11-point game. Warren trying to add, can't. Over the back was Jonathan Holton, one of the top rebounders in TBT a year ago. And he's the one to commit the personal here.
Giveaway there, yep. And Jonathan Holton played at West Virginia and Rhode Island in his college career. Played 2 years here at WVU.
And was a West Virginia guy a year ago. We'll see them tonight. And what's a top-to-bottom loaded West Virginia regional. Scar and I are a little biased, but we think this might be the most talented 1 through 8.
And some familiar TBT teams, too. Sideline Cancer, big brand. The only team, in fact, that has been in every TBT. The Challenge ALS brand is big as well. They've gotten to the final game. Florida TNT, which is, of course, we talked about the merger and acquisition, the combination of those teams. Florida TNT has gone far in this tournament and has been picked to win it by experts the last couple of years. Tough shot.
Smith Rivera off target. Clanton down with the rebound. McGee off the dribble. Oh, so tough.
Smoke him if you got him. Fletcher McGee with the ball on its perimeter is dangerous.
12 now for McGee, his third 3 to go with 3 free throws. Big time hole for the Georgetown alumni. Sims goes one and done on the jump hook. Challenge ALS Florida threatening to open this up. Larry Johnson says foul on the former two-time CAA Player of the Year, Jarrell Benjamin.
And Fletcher McGee has been knocking it down from downtown. You see that Zell logo. He wants to have a conversation with Zell in a week and a half.
Yeah, get him to Philadelphia.
Tough player.
And you see on the back of those jerseys, each Challenge ALS Florida player with the name of someone that has battled ALS. Marvell Harris spinning it in. Little extra English for the recent groom. Clark, right of the lane, took care of it. Back and forth, but can't really afford to go back and forth if you're Dawgtown. This is a 34-point half to this point for Challenge ALS.
And much like Georgetown teams, when they get down, the only way they can come back usually is with the defense igniting transition opportunities. So it's important for Florida Challenge ALS to take care of the basketball.
McGee right around Smith Rivera. That's a lot of points playing against one another right there. Almost 4,000 of them combined, and McGee getting the last laugh. Lost out of bounds here. Smith Rivera. But there's a reason for it.
When you can shoot as well as McGee, you see how they're crowding him? And when you crowd a guy that knows how to handle the basketball, you give up dribble penetration. Poor soft side execution in terms of coming over and sealing off that drive. But a great job by Fletcher McGee. Instant offense off the bench today.
Don't have to worry about what kind of shape he's in as Sims unloads this three and misses. Fletcher McGee, just part of the Rockets Summer League team out in Vegas. So coming in playing shape for TBT.
And now you come back with the starters after the bench did that.
Robinson, scoop and score with the left.
Points will not be an issue for Challenge ALS Florida.
Chris Wright forcing the contact here. And Keith Clinton having himself a chuckle. You can do that when you're up 18. We said first of what is 9 TBT games. Gutter Cats in the north going on right now in Louisville. 9-point lead for the Gutter Cats with former VMI scoring sensation QJ Peterson with what's 11 for them. Air ball here for the Georgetown alumni. Bounce game for Shaheed Davis. Tough find in traffic for Warren. Shot clock cut in half. Let Marvell Harris go to work. Loves that spin dribble.
Nice dime.
And there's Clinton. Doubling him up here in Wheeling.
Drop him off at the doorstep. Great delivery.
That's an extra large package on that delivery. Wright took care of the mid-range. Just going to ignore that.
Yeah, I'm just going to ignore that.
Harris. Warren from the corner.
And this is getting ugly, but we thought it could. And Sims, 6'11". Georgetown known for bigs over the years, of course. Many of the greatest NBA players of all time have played at Georgetown at that center position. Long list of guys.
And one of them who was just recently their head coach. Things didn't work out for Patrick Ewing. But interested to see what Ed Cooley can do on the move down the coast from Providence.
And everybody was pulling for Patrick Ewing. I mean, everybody. Non-Georgetown people I'm talking about. You know, I hope Pat can get it going. They just really never got it going there. You know, we've had the pleasure of doing a couple of Georgetown games together. But, man, I think Ed Cooley is the right hire, though. And normally you don't see a guy, you're starting to see it more, but you don't see coaches go to another team within the conference. But we'll see how that plays out in the Big East this year.
19-point game here.
I had to.
I didn't mean it like that. No.
And dude, I had to like think of puppies or something just to get so I wouldn't laugh. Oh my gosh. Just gonna leave that there.
The basketball tournament is presented by Puma Basketball. By Zelle, the official payment partner of TBT. And by NBA 2K24. See you on the court. Rated E. A look at some of the teams that have already moved toward that quarterfinal placard. Gone through their regions. Last one you saw, Nasty Natty, the Cincinnati alumni, who won the Xavier Regional last night with a blowout victory over the program for autism. That's one thing about this tournament that's so special, not just alumni teams. Teams playing for causes as well. Challenge ALS Florida is another one of them, as Brandon Robinson going to go to the free throw line here.
Yeah, of course, Sideline Cancer, we'll see them a little bit later. But yeah, and it's an interesting dynamic with the alumni teams and then the teams that play for causes and then teams that just kind of get together, like Overseas Elite, who has won 4 of the first 9 TBT championships.
Rare miss for Robinson. Loaded bracket, top to bottom. Talked about West Virginia earlier. They came out of this region a year ago into the quarterfinals. Heard that may be the most talented roster. Top to bottom in this thing.
Well,
at least among these 8 teams.
There's a team right in front of us that might
not have something to say about that.
But yeah, I mean, heard that is certainly better than they have put into TBT, and they've had good showings in the past, certainly in the bubble. Actually, the bubble was good for Sideline and heard that year.
Yes, they were. 2020 out in Columbus. Harris, soft touch coming across the lane.
Marvelous.
Happy honeymoon week, Marvell. Long way from Lytle Creek, California, as Smith Rivera drills the 3. That's where Marvell Harris's wedding was celebrated.
And as Chris Wright, the GM and player, told us last night, they have guys that can knock it down from downtown.
And there's a look. Marvell and his lovely bride, Alyssa, high school sweethearts. They met in their high school gym.
Tough. Oh.
And you know what a lot of the ladies at home are saying? What took you so long, Marvell?
Yeah, that's a long time ago, right? Go from high school, play a lot of pro ball, then you decide to finally lock her up.
Congratulations to the two of them. The good news is, though, he's been playing pro basketball for quite a while. And sends this one, does Harris, to Robinson, who knocks down the 3. So I guess the conversation, hey, honey, can we delay the honeymoon by a week? I have to go play in this thing, and it might help. There's $1 million on the line.
So there was probably an eye roll at first, like, here we go again with the basketball stuff.
Right.
But ultimately, she complied.
Robinson off target with the three.
Man, they got numbers here.
And Sims on the leak out, score at +1.
And that's one Fletcher McGee probably should just let go, because he's not going to offer any resistance at the rim, and he made a ticky-tack foul, and now Sims has a N1 opportunity.
Special thanks, by the way, to Challenge ALS Florida GM Sean Marshall, who provided us with that picture.
Sean Marshall's a good dude, man.
Yeah, he and Darren Collison run a pro training facility. That's actually where this conversation started to merge the two teams, Challenge ALS, Florida TNT. Sean Marshall was at pre-drafts down in Florida, down in Orlando. He and Terry Hughes talked. Said, hey, let's take our inventory and combine it.
You make it sound like a Reese's Peanut Butter Cup commercial.
Right.
You got your chocolate in my peanut butter. You got your peanut butter in my chocolate.
Final 5 seconds. McGee on the mid-range. Clanton one more time. That'll count. And it does. 51 out of the gate for Challenge ALS. Making a statement here in the first round in Wheeling. Fletcher McGee and his teammates. Keith Clanton getting that tap. And boy, what a first half it was for them. 59% shooting and a combined 27 for McGee and Brandon Robinson. We'll have plenty more coming from the West Virginia Regional. Stats, highlights, and a look at the TBT as a whole. TBT 10, still just getting warmed up with the field cut in half. Okay.
Okay, perfect.
Alrighty. Thank you, everybody.
What was the other one?
That started sounding. Oh my God. I can't even look at you right now, man.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey, on a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go.
No freaking way.
What?
Crossplay's coming to 2K! Crossplay's coming to 2K! 2K, yo! Crossplay's coming to NBA 2K.
Hey, yo, kid, wait up.
Product not yet rated.
Halftime here at the West Virginia region, home of the Wheeling Nailers and the nail capital of the world. Already halfway through this basketball tournament field, TBT 10 edition. Start out in Wichita in the A Regional. No surprise here, Marcus McDuffie, Connor Frankamp, and Aftershocks, the Wichita State alumni, Tim Scarborough, right through this regional.
Yeah, but it wasn't an easy road. They had to overcome double-digit deficits twice in their route to the quarterfinal game. And I tell you what, that Beale Street Boys game, that's one they probably should have lost, if not for the fans. They really kept them in, and as a result, they were able to overcome that double-digit deficit late in the game.
And took care of the Memphis alumni, Wichita B Regional. And the team that they will meet, Hardfire, coached by former ESPN analyst, longtime NBA vet LaFonso Ellis. They end up running through in a double-digit victory over Thomas Robinson, former ESPN.com National Player of the Year and the KU alumni. So it's Hardfire up against the Aftershocks in the Wichita quarterfinal at 9 Eastern on ESPN+. Over to the Lubbock Regional, where it was Chris Foster's and Seth Greenberg calling the action. And Bleed Green, one of the most impressive teams in this field, the North Texas alumni. Boy, can those guys defend.
Yeah, but Brandon Jefferson has been shooting it in from downtown. That backcourt has been leading them, but they have others. Zach Simmons, Taco Bell. Those two guys who have played for Grant McCaslin. I call this the Grant McCaslin region because he's the head coach of Texas Tech, but North Texas is a team he played for or coached for. And his team is good enough to win this whole thing. They played the same way that Buffalo team did a year ago, very cohesive.
And then the Xavier Regional, which just wrapped up what was last night. Nasty Natty, a 25-point victory over the team, the Program for Autism, that had most of the guys that were part of the runners-up last year. But Nasty Natty, the Cincy alumni, led by Troy Copain, Jerron Cumberland, a lot of Mick Cronin disciples. They're tough.
Oh, man, are they tough. They won that crosstown matchup in the semifinal game versus Zip 'em Up. A very big lead that was blown, but somehow they were able to overcome it. And then they cruised in that final game, 76-51. A terrific team. Watch out for them possibly getting to Philadelphia the way they're playing.
And sets up our quarterfinals, where 4 spots have already been decided. Hardfire and Aftershocks, Nasty Natty, and Bleed Green. Still to be decided, the Dayton champ, the Louisville champ, West Virginia, and Syracuse. TBT 10. We're whittling down the field. We'll have plenty more coming from West Virginia here on ESPN+.
How about that lasagna?
Thanks for having us. Oh, and here's the money I owe you. Here's the money I owe you. Here's the money I owe you.
Okay, so whenever we need to get paid back, we always ask for Zelle.
I know, but we use different banks.
Zelle works even if you bank somewhere different than we do.
Just take the money.
With Zelle, the money goes straight into my bank account.
Put it in your pocket.
I prefer it in my bank account.
Everything okay in here?
Yeah, no, everything's great. Just pay me with Zelle. Zelle. Look for it in your banking app.
Ruby!
Back at the West Virginia Regional, TBT 10, the 10th anniversary of the basketball tournament. We're down to what is 32 teams here in Wheeling. We have 8 of them, and we're going to eliminate 1 as we get ready to start the third quarter. Challenge ALS Florida with the 20-point lead on Dawgtown. A lot of balance in the first half, Tim Scarborough, especially from the perimeter for Challenge ALS Florida.
Yeah, and that's a scary prospect because we know they can get out in transition, and they did that early. We know they have Keith Clanton. He can knock it down in the paint. But, boy, was Boynton good in the first half as advertised. Not Boynton, Brandon Robinson, I should say. And then Fletcher McGee came off the bench. Robinson had 13 as a starter. And then they put in Fletcher McGee. He said, I'll do one better. I'll knock it down from downtown a few times, and I'll get 14 points off the bench. A instant spark, instant offense, 51 first half points, and just 18 minutes of gameplay. Exceptional offense.
7 made threes in that first half for Challenge ALS Florida. Robinson and McGee combined for 5 of them.
It's funny, I mentioned Kenny Boynton. He's not even here. I mean, and he's one of their better players over the years. That was nearly a backcourt violation. They let it go.
59% first half, 14 of those 18 bench points from McGee. And helps having bigs like Keith Clanton in terms of that interior presence. Even getting after it with the 3 block shots in the first half.
And the Georgetown team just 2 for 12 from downtown. And that's just not going to get it done when you're down by this much unless you can start getting some easy buckets in transition, and that's hard to do from a team that knows how to take care of the ball like this Challenge ALS Florida team does.
Harris missing the 3 on the designed inbounds. Smith Rivera and his fellow Georgetown alumni down 20. A little bit of separation, nearly got the friendly bounce.
Whoa, how about that?
And we had a temporary wedgie there. And you go to the arrow, it's over to Challenge ALS Florida.
You know what's amazing about Chris Warren? How many guys look at him and they go, oh, I'm going to take his little butt in the post. People do it all the time and they have trouble scoring on him. He is tough.
There's such a thing as basketball strong. You know, basketball shape.
Yep, he's that. That's a good analogy.
Robinson back of the iron. Already run a minute off this third quarter clock and no scoring yet.
Nice dime.
Maybe we'll get it started here with Whittington, who draws a foul.
Great find by Sims. He was a process Sixer, right? He was on that team during the time where the Sixers were trusting the process. And as a Sixers fan, I can tell you now, I don't think I trust that process anymore. This is the window where we should have been getting delivered a championship, maybe?
Yeah, I think we were promised multiple as Smith Rivera turns and scores.
But having not got out of the conference semis, that's been a bit of a disappointment. Nice dime, great play, great set play, great delivery by Clanton.
Harris streaking to the cup.
And that's a well-coached group here. We talked about the two-headed monster, Iron Rainey, Darren Collison.
More on the Harris-Vega wedding, by the way, with Marvell getting married this past Saturday. 7 or 8, from what Sean Marshall told us, as Robinson cans the mid-range jumper here. 7 or 8 either current or former Challenge ALS players were in attendance at the ceremony. So good time had by all out in Lytle Creek, California, not far from Los Angeles. Here at this end, foul on Challenge ALS Florida.
This team, and I can't believe how far Darren Collison is out of the coach's box. He is past half court. He's actually in the Georgetown coaching box.
Opposing coach's box.
That is amazing. I mean, Iron Rainey is in the coach's box, and I was like, man, where's Darren? Oh, my goodness, that's him at midcourt.
Pryor spins that around, Julius Erving, ABA style.
Rodney Pryor played at Robert Morris and Georgetown. He's a strong scorer. Spent a couple years at Robert Morris.
Yeah, they were talking about him in our conversation with Chris Wright as an X factor. Warren steps into his 3 and hits it.
So Chris Warren is a guy that they go to late in games. He's delivered some big buckets for this organization over the years.
Had 334 career threes in college, Chris Warren. Harris draws contact here.
He averaged 20 points a game last year in TBT, by the way. But as you see, Marvell Harris absorbing that contact from Whittington. And it was unintentional, but he knocked him into the support.
From champagne and cake to the foul line at Westbanco Arena. Good start for Marvell Harris. 9 now in the afternoon. His winning share sent with Zell, $52,631.
Those were the very reasons he's here today.
Right, exactly. I mean, that's a lot of plates at the wedding.
And weddings are expensive. I'm sure he needs that.
Long while for you, long for me as well. And with inflation, I'm sure prices aren't getting better.
You're talking about spending money on a wedding?
Yes.
Yeah, that actually never happened for me. We went to the JOP, baby. Justice of the Peace.
I bet the honeymoon was fun, though.
Well, we spent some money on the honeymoon.
The honeymoon.
From the money perspective, you're talking, right?
Well, just in general, it's supposed to be fun, Scarborough. How many years have you and I been doing this?
I don't know what you ate this morning, but you're killing me.
It's part of the reason we were tardy getting here.
Oh, my gosh. I'm not going to make it 4 games with you today, I don't think.
Well, we're going to have a lot to talk about here.
No question about it.
Sideline cancer still to come. Led by former top scorer in the nation from Central Michigan, Marcus Keene, who our colleague Seth Greenberg calls Marcus Elam for his ability to finish in tight situations and after the Elam ending starts.
That moniker, is that earned at this point? Because I don't think he has the most Elam endings. If you're going to get that moniker, you should be the guy that's done it a bunch of times, right?
Marvell Harris also up there. Warren has a few himself, drills the triple.
There's been a few Elam enders on this floor, for sure. Darius Washington has a career Elam ender. Warren's got a few.
Gotten to the point where this tournament has evolved so much. Folks strategize the Elam ending. They planned for it. Was actually talking to Manny Camper, who played at Siena and is playing for Ram Nation in that second game, the one that's still to come. And, he'd said, I love the Elam. They use it in the G, played in the G League the last 2 years, and hey, they're using it in OT now.
Yeah, they are. Yep, I cover some G League games, and it's fun to talk about. As a TBT expert, been around Elam since the very beginning, I get to explain that to the NBA G League audience, so that's always fun.
I've spent enough time with you that I know your biggest Elam ending pet peeve is right before it starts. Somebody doesn't call timeout when they establish possession.
Oh, there's so many things you can do differently to approach that thing strategically that people just leave on the table. Well, yeah, it does drive me nuts at times. But by the way, Marvell Harris, we've been talking about him a lot, number 23 in white. He's got 5 Elam endings.
5, yep.
So
Robinson.
Maybe we should call him Marvell Elam, not Marcus Keene. With apologies to our colleague, Seth Greenberg.
Either way, if the first 3 letters of your name are Mar, you like the Elam ending. And you're in the West Virginia Regional. Whittington, soft turnaround.
Yeah, we talked about the bigs of Georgetown. Patrick Ewing, Mutombo, Mourning. Mutombo and Mourning actually played together at Georgetown. How scary is that? And Big John himself, John Thompson II, was a big man in his own right, both in stature and played for the Celtics as an NBA player.
Harris, the layup at one end. This is starting to feel more like another Florida Gulf Coast against the Hoyas in the NCAA tournament. Not to bring back painful memories.
Big upset. Well, we do that. That's what we do at TBT. You and I, we bring up Kansas losing Or Memphis losing to Kansas on the Mario Chalmers shot.
Kansas to Bucknell.
Kansas losing to VCU in 2011. That's what we do.
Don't open any suspicious pieces of mail.
Right.
Warren missed the 3 off the inbounds.
Giveaway. Yep. Veteran move right there. Marvell Harris knows he's coming out of the game. He's ready to take a seat at this point.
Like I said, cake and champagne. Followed by a cross-country plane trip and basketball.
I'm just not going to make it with you.
In the nail capital of the world.
Come on. 4 players in double figures already for this challenge ALS team. There's still 4 minutes and 5 seconds to go in the third quarter.
Tomorrow on the off day, they might go see the world's biggest ball of yarn.
Oh, there's something to look forward to.
I'm sure we could find it.
The world's biggest ball of yarn. So is that here for him?
No, I don't think so.
Well, I didn't put it past Wheeling because they are the nail capital, as you adroitly mentioned a few times.
TBT fans can rep their favorite teams all year long with official TBT gear. You can head to thetournament.com to get yours. Ooh, like that Best Virginia t-shirt. I want to go to the storage unit where they store all the stuff from years past, by the way.
Yeah, probably got some good stuff in there, right? Some old jerseys, some old overseas elite jerseys, some Challenge ALS jerseys from back in the day. Sideline must have a ton. They've been in this tournament all 10 years.
I'm sure that man has some jerseys up on his wall. Darren Collison,
oh, man.
10-year NBA veteran, played his collegiate ball at UCLA and steering his team to a blowout this afternoon.
World's largest team. All right, let me show that. That's an hour north of here.
Just yes.
Oh my goodness, that's funny.
The basketball tournament is presented by Zelle, the official payment partner of TBT. The National Basketball Players Association, the union for the 450 best basketball players in the world. And by Visit Syracuse. Plan your next getaway today at visitsyracuse.com. A look down Main Street here in Wheeling. Matt Martucci, Tim Scarborough, our first round of the West Virginia region. 23-point lead for Challenge ALS Florida on Dawgtown, the Georgetown alumni. Darren Collison's guys have shared the basketball. They've knocked plenty down from the perimeter. And to update our conversation, apparently Tim Scarborough, our A2, who's making us sound good on the audio side, Mike Riley tells us an hour north of here, Chester, West Virginia, there is the world's largest teapot. So maybe that's how you and I are spending our off day tomorrow. I'm not sure.
Who knew West Virginia could be so much fun? We're going to be here for a while too, man.
Only 2,200 people in Chester, West Virginia. Here at Wheeling, about 27,000 as of the last census. Right off of the cross. And that rebound tracked down by Chris Warren, who's another catalyst in what Challenge ALS Florida's done today.
You and I are going to be here for the entire week. This team in white may also be with us. They are really good as we thought they would be on paper. But, man, seeing it in person, this has been an impressive display. Make it difficult for you to score at the defensive end, and they have weapons at the other end. They get out in transition, snipers on the perimeter, bigs that play hard. Just a really well put together TBT team.
Misses at both ends. Mwugbe missed the drop step layup. And then other end, Jason Clark unable to come up with his.
We've seen some good teams in the past week and a half too. I mean, we talked about that bleed green team.
North Texas alumni.
North Texas, really good. How about the Buffalo team last night? I mean, the oil light was blinking, but somehow, as Darius Washington smokes that one, here we are in transition. Somehow they came back. I believe it's the biggest Elam ending comeback ever, right?
Yeah, down double digits. And Nick Perkins, who slipped on the floor, looked like he had hurt himself momentarily, ends up coming back and a jumper just outside the foul line to take care of it and send Big Five TBT, the Philadelphia team, home. Multiple misses, multiple tries. Nevin Hart, who played a year at Fresno State, finally gets the follow.
Yeah, and that Big Five team, though, wow, were they playing so well for most of that game. And really, we talked about if you're going to beat Buffalo, you got to match their energy. And they did that and then some. But in the end, they just couldn't put that Buffalo team away. And I think it's due in part to the Elam ending.
25-point lead for Challenge ALS. We're coming right back. 30 seconds.
Let's continue that conversation. Talk about how the Elam ending allows you to come back. Okay.
And just like that, back at the West Virginia Regional. Well, going to take a lot for Dawgtown to work its way back here. So we'll have the Elam in a while, but it's not too early to start talking about it because this is a 25-point basketball game. Stop the clock at or under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter, and it's the brainchild of Mensa member Nick Elam. Now used in the NBA All-Star Game, used in the G League. You take the leading team score, add 8 points, set a target score, and the first team in this case to the target score takes their first step toward $1 million. Moves to the second round in West Virginia.
Yeah, and the Elam ending allows you to have to finish your business, meaning no matter how big your lead is, once you get in the Elam ending, you still need 8 more points. So you can never really quite relax. And one thing that's really a residual effect is even in a blowout game, if you're watching your team, you gotta kind of stay and make sure they close the deal with that last shot.
And we're going to have a pair of Elam endings here in this 3 o'clock hour. Gutter Cats up big on the north, which is in that Louisville region. Gutter Cats, the former team of what's now current sideline cancer, former BC Eagle guard Tyrese Rice, who we'll see in the next game here in West Virginia. He and Marcus Keene joining forces along with Eugene German.
Wow.
Who just played in the NBA Summer League and played over in China. And Billy Clapper, the sideline cancer GM. They've played in every TBT. Tells us that he may be better than the two of them.
At this stage,
of his career. Yeah. Washington wide left on the three-point attempt.
But it is interesting, this Georgetown team, the way this is going, you know, they have every right to that target score too. It's just that they have to climb Mount Everest, and really Florida Challenge ALS is a nice dunk on the baseline there. And that was hard again. And you know, the Florida Challenge ALS Florida, really, they just have to go up like a flight of steps. So it's going to be challenging indeed for this Dawgtown team.
You mean instead of the 4 flights you've been climbing at our hotel?
I take it you want to keep taking the elevator? Come on, man.
No, we get our steps in. It's all right.
Get your steps in. He traveled there. Speaking of steps, Chris Wright.
Washington leak out at the other end. Shaheed Davis gets stripped out of bounds. Dawgtown Georgetown alumni team that was hoping for a better result. You think about what Chris Wright gave up to come back and play with his fellow Hoya alumni. Yeah. He was on the runner-up team a year ago.
That's right. On the Autism's Army former, and now they're called the program.
Yep. Americana for Autism.
Americana for Autism, and now they're
the program. Yep. McGee fading back, offensive rebound from Awugbe.
You know, 2 years ago, the Florida TNT team, which is basically this group, lost to Boeheim's Army. Last year, they lost to Autism's Army. They want to stay away from armies. Maybe they can go count some money.
Right into the front court.
Oh, yeah, that's a foul.
Yeah, no battalions, no corps, no nothing.
And the way they're playing, it's going to take an army to defeat these guys. They are just terrific at both ends all afternoon long. This is a great way for them to get it started. Not so much for us. This has not been competitive at all. And credit to the Challenge ALS Florida team, and they have done it from start to finish. They've shot it in, they've defended, and they've made it tough on this Dawgtown team.
The architect of Dawgtown, Chris Wright, at the free throw line. We said, first player to knowingly play with MS, and has battled it for what is over a decade. Played for John Thompson III at Georgetown, and told us that JT3 was basically the first person there for him when he found out his diagnosis. Helped him through a really rough time.
I think that was late.
Yep.
They're going to count it.
And that's how this third quarter ends. And we get the leaping ability on display for Niven Hart. Challenge ALS in a rout, up by 27 points, heading into the fourth quarter. Elam cannot come fast enough here in Wheeling.
Here we go, at the top of the class on a roll, and it's time to run it up, yeah you know. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, hey. On a roll, here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go.
No freaking way.
What?
Crossplay's coming to 2K! Crossplay's coming to 2K! Crossplay's coming to 2K, yo! Crossplay's coming to NBA 2K.
Hey, yo, kid, wait up.
Product not yet rated.
There's the winning share sent with Zelle for Challenge ALS Florida, $52,631 across the board, sent straight to the winners' bank accounts with Zelle. Challenge ALS Florida head coach Darren Collison, the former NBA vet, one-time UCLA guard, hoping to see the $52,631 in his bank account. You can apparently get a brand new BMW SUV, Tim Scarborough, for under $50K.
You been shopping?
I mean,
are you playing TBT or just broadcasting?
A quick Google search will find you what you need. McGee off target. That's been rare today from the perimeter.
And a rare transition opportunity for the Hoyas, the Dawgtown team.
Rodney Pryor getting the leak out in the dunk. 4 minutes and change until
nice
Elam time.
Chris Wright.
And trying to get some buckets. Well, you hope for under 20 at this point, right?
Well, this is the window to do it, though. Because again, no matter what the score is, this Challenge ALS Florida team is going to have to score 8 more points. So Dawgtown, they want to make sure that they only have to score, let's say, 25 points or 30 points, because the closer you get, you're going at that same target. It's just that target is a lot further away for you.
Started the day with what's 32 teams left in this TBT field. Already have 4 teams that have moved on to the quarterfinals. Washington gets this blocked out of bounds by Sims. But still to be decided here in West Virginia. We have Louisville, we have Dayton, and we have Syracuse. How good did Boeheim's Army look last night?
Boeheim's Army is reloaded, but they are really, really good once again. They have a sort of a home court advantage. Syracuse region, they're the host team.
Syracuse alumni. Had a lot of guys out last night, too, and it didn't even matter. No Malachi Richardson, no Tyus Battle. And if you live in the 315, you've rooted for the Orange for a long time, you know those names. No more Eric Devendorf, though. Devo hanging it up. Still playing in some other leagues and doing his camps and stuff locally in the Syracuse region.
You know, when we talk about Zell, that's the group I kind of think of. We were there for the moment they got their text from Zell when they won it in 2021 down on the floor. And the emotion that those guys felt was incredible.
Yeah, former UW Milwaukee guard Kiefer Sykes ended up with a pro contract because of that.
It's a pretty big shot.
Hart long on the 3. Windex of the glass. Jonathan Holton, his first points of the afternoon.
So speaking of big shots and money shots, you're going to have a opportunity for somebody to win $1,000 during this Elam ending, the promotional that Puma has. If you're wearing Pumas and you have an Elam ender, that's an extra $1,000 in your bank account.
Who's the toughest of those quarterfinal teams so far, in your mind?
The toughest are the ones
the ones that have advanced. Heartfire, Aftershocks.
Heartfire's really good, but they've had trouble scoring. But again, they're one of the biggest teams size-wise. They're a tough matchup, and they have Craig Sword and Marcus Hall, really good guards. They got a nice formula. LaFonso Ellis coaching that team. That Bleed Green team is really good, though. The guards are knocking down shots, and they defend. I mentioned Thomas Taco Bell, that guy is a glue guy. Then you have Simmons inside. It'll be interesting if they do get to play against a big team in the finals, how they will do. Because I think that team is going to get to the final game.
Washington forcing the issue, draws the contact from Sims. Yeah, I mean, they have the same makeup. And I know you talked about it as that Buffalo alumni team.
Who refused to die yesterday.
Yep.
Again, the Elam ending scenario, in my opinion, allowed them to get back in it, because if you could just hunker down and get stops and keep scoring, you have a chance. Whereas without the Elam ending, the teams just can simply run out the clock. And because of that, in a close game, I feel like the fourth quarter, you have to keep playing to score. The team that's ahead a lot of times in these games start trying to get shots late possession because they want to shorten the game. But you can't shorten a game that doesn't have a clock at the end. It's going to be relatively the same amount of possessions, right? So it's about possessions more than the time.
Shaheed Davis at one end, Henry Sims at the other. Will the NBA ever adopt it? It's in the All-Star game, but maybe in the extra period, just like the G League has.
There will be a time, much like the three-point line and the shot clock, where Elam ending is just going to be a part of basketball. I can't put a clock on that, ironically, on when that will be, but it's going to happen.
By then, they might have an AI robot in your seat and mine simulating our voices.
Yeah.
Oh, no, we're giving them ideas.
They'll just make us more slim and more handsome, but yes. If you're going to do AI, you might as well do it right.
I have to be honest with you, Scarborough. The button in the shorts today was a little bit harder than usual.
We've been pounding the food last. That's what happens, right? Get on the road. I don't know how people stay in shape, honestly.
A lot of salads. That's how.
Yep.
Nice find for Jonathan Holton. Wide open. Cans the three.
A minute and 28 seconds away for putting this Dawgtown team out of its misery, perhaps. But again, they have every right to that target score as the other team. So it's going to take a whole lot of incredible basketball. Well, it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Long three-pointer for Rodney Pryor.
Probability, that's a different story.
Challenge ALS Florida hasn't had to do much to get 34 in this second half as Wright leaks out and gets the layup.
3-on-0, and Darren Collinson says, guys, we still have work to do. Timeout.
Eyes on the prize, gentlemen. Challenge ALS Florida up 24, back at 30. Yeah, might as well.
Yep, let's do it.
From a town known as Wheeling, West Virginia, it's the basketball tournament. And we're in the first round, but championship week already rolling on in Wichita. Our first quarterfinal will happen tonight and cap off what's 9 games. Heartfire against the Aftershocks, the Wichita State alumni. Nasty Natty, the Cincy alumni, awaiting the Dayton champion Monday, 7 Eastern. And then Bleed Green awaiting the Louisville champion, North Texas alumni. That's Monday, 9 Eastern. And you and I have a date with ESPN2 Sunday, Tim Scarborough, winner of the Syracuse region and this one.
And I'm fully anticipating the guys from that Buffalo team making that trip down here. But that Syracuse team may have something else to say about that.
Now, Brandon Robinson and Challenge ALS Florida certainly making their case. Another triple for Robinson in this squad.
Yeah, they've been terrific all afternoon.
Pryor almost got the friendly bounce.
A deep team, veteran team. All the pieces.
McGee tiptoe in the end line. Fletch says, just get me to the Elam. It was a 20-point game at the half, has not gotten much better. Smith Rivera rattles home the three.
And now that this team has had a sniff of TBT, it'll be interesting to see what Chris Wright does next year in terms of putting a team together for the Georgetown alum. Certainly a welcome addition to TBT, the organization, the program. We talked about Ed Cooley moving that in a positive direction this fall. Can't wait to see that. Watch out, Big East.
Now watch out for our target score, 95 on the board. Coming back here in Wheeling. the moment has arrived here to start the West Virginia Regional in Wheeling. Elam ending time comes at the first stoppage at or under 4 minutes in the fourth quarter. We set up a target score. In this case, it would be 95 for either team. So plus 32 for Dawgtown and only 8 away for Challenge ALS. First team to get there. Scarborough's money's on Challenge ALS. Ends up moving on into the second round.
I won't even try to sell the audience on a comeback for this one. I mean, this is again, Mount Everest versus having to take a flight of steps.
Well, and the first step toward a much smaller hill climb. Chris Warren cans the jumper.
I see 4 guys wearing red and white Pumas in white.
One and done go Chris Wright and the Georgetown alumni.
And is Clanton wearing Pumas as well? A different version? Hard to tell.
Yeah.
No, he's not.
$1,000 bonus if they make the $1 million shot wearing Pumas. $10,000 bonus when the money's on the line. You certainly want to be wearing Pumas.
I would. I mean, my bank account is not so big that when you walk by. Here's a question for you, Matt, and the people at home. What's the amount of money on the ground that you won't pick up? I won't pick up a penny. Probably won't pick up a dime. But if I saw $1,000 on the ground, I'd pick it up. There's $1,000 out there waiting for you. Pick it up. Go make a shot.
I'd probably pick up the penny because the 5-year-old and 3-year-old seem to like coins for their bank. But your kids are a little older. Pryor rattles home the 3. So 5 away after the Warren free throws, by the way. Challenge ALS. So 1 of 2. He's got all 3 points here in Elam ending time. McGee from where the really big fish swim. Smith Rivera at the other end.
Chris Warren, number 69. He's got a few Elam enders under his belt.
Keith Clanton says, hey, come on, Jonathan Holton, be ready for the catch.
So as a basketball fan and a fan of money, I would say that anybody but Keith Clanton should hit this shot, right? Like, is it fair for him to even take the potential game-winning Elam ender and he's not wearing Puma?
Probably not.
Right.
I mean, are you asking me or our sponsor?
It was rhetorical.
Yeah, correct. Warren, another. Holton with the offensive rebound. McGee, second time. Yes, sir.
Cash. Such a terrific shooter. He's actually fun to watch shoot the ball even in warm-ups.
And suddenly 2 away versus 29 away.
Yeah, so if I'm wearing Pumas, I'm not even playing defense at this point. I'm leaking out. Where's my $1,000?
Hart, known as a dunker, puts it down. A reputation in college as one of the best high flyers. Only a year at Fresno State. But Niven Hart takes the heart of Dawgtown. Challenge ALS Florida moves on into the second round with the Elam ender from the stratosphere.
And Niven Hart is saying, who do I have to see from Puma? Let's have a conversation. But man, this was over from the start. That Challenge ALS team, Florida TNT, what a terrifically put together group. And this is sealing off. This is kind of symbolic of how this day went for this Dawgtown team. A run out and a hammer to send them packing. And this Florida ALS, Challenge ALS Florida team will move on.
And just like that, we're down to 31 teams in this TBT field. As Niven Hart, the one to place the placard up on the big bracket. Or are we going to wait for everybody first? It's a colorful pair of shoes that Darius Washington just put up there. But they'll move on, and still to come, sideline cancer in what is our second game against Ram Nation, the VCU alumni. As Challenge ALS Florida GM Terry Hughes making his way over to us. He can't talk to us yet, but he's going to shake hands with Tip Scarborough. 1 down and what is 5 to go now.
Yeah, this was just a dismantling from the start. Terrific, organized team. And you wonder when you have a group of guys, we always say, do they have too many guys? You know, that's always a question. Maybe we'll find out as the game goes on and the tournament goes on, they go up against and they're truly challenged. But right now, they look terrific.
Here's our 2K play of the game. Fletcher McGee early and often.
Yeah, Fletcher McGee came off the bench, 14 first half points. We know what he does. You know his DNA. Knocking it down from 3 is what he does as just the guy that he is, and he did it all afternoon long. And as a result, Challenge ALS Florida cruises to the next round.
And even taking the time to pose with some sideline cancer fans for a little picture. Update in the bracket here. Challenge ALS getting the winner of Sideline Cancer at Ram Nation. And that one will be a good one Thursday night in the nightcap on ESPN+. Still to come tonight, West Virginia, the West Virginia alumni, and Du Bois Dream. And then heard that, the Marshall alumni against Zoo Crew, the Pitt alumni. Plenty of good basketball, wall to wall today here in Wheeling. Are you the hammer or the nail in the nail capital of the world? Well, unfortunately, Dawgtown the nail this afternoon. Challenge ALS Florida moving on. Tim Scarborough, still 3 more to go. Can't wait.
This has been fun so far. It's going to be more competitive as we move forward, but man, a great region. We talked about the talent on display today.
All Challenge ALS Florida. We'll see you in a little bit for Sideline Cancer and Ram Nation. For Tim Scarborough, our producer Haley Zedek, our entire fantastic crew, Matt Martucci saying so long, and coming right back here in Wheeling.